Now, whilst we love nothing better than having a good old laugh at our neighbours across the road, well, they're not across the road anymore, they're down at Hampden, aren't they? There is a funny side to it, but we need to beware because the coefficient is what we really need to be sorting out, our own coefficient, because we need to be getting into the Champions League without having to go through these qualifiers. But
So Rangers tumble out of the Champions League and miss out on a £40 million bonus that the club really needs at this point in its history. Philippe Clement needed that money to rebuild his side. Instead, he stuck with Cyril Dessers, who again fluffed his lines in front of goal tonight. He was, to be fair, the hero last week, but he was more like his old self tonight. And of course, Clement already had one arm tied behind his back this season, having to play games here at Hampden Park, and the fans voted with their feet tonight. It was far from full. The traditional Celtic end was about 20% full. I remember Rangers sell out Ibrox every week. This was a massive game. They had to win it. The turning point, of course, was the red card for Chelsea just after half-time. Philippe Clement raced onto the pitch at full time to harangue the referee about that. He was calling for a VAR review at the time. VAR cannot review second yellow cards. It did seem a little bit soft. No doubt about the first yellow card for Chefty for a stamp, but the second one looked a tad harsh for the Rangers defender. In terms of what happens now for Rangers, they drop into the Europa League, but they'll still be at Hampden Park, which the supporters don't like. The atmosphere was flat tonight, and even the pre-match show, the music Rangers play, did not in any way inspire the supporters away.
didn't inspire the supporters. But be careful what you wish for, as they say, because when they drop down into the Europa, they will still make £12 million out of the Europa. So it is not, although we would have liked them to have no money at all, let's face it, but they will still get 12 million for going into the Europa. When it comes to Celtic news this morning, a lot of people are talking obviously about the story that we did yesterday afternoon with the Daniel Kelly situation, and I did say on the live that I was completely devastated when the news broke yesterday that Daniel Kelly would be leaving Celtic. Now, it's came out this morning that Celtic tried to offload the player this summer for around about 450,000 with a sell-on clause. Millwall event, do you know what? We're not paying that. We're not paying that, and Daniel Kelly has done one over on Celtic. And so much for him being a Celtic man and all the rest of it, and the little guy for East Kilbride being Celtic through and through. The Millwall boss says, Neil Harris confirmed that the deal is done to sign Daniel Kelly from Celtic. The promising young midfielder has seen his Hoops contract run out in December. He will then join up with the English Championship side in January when the transfer window opens. Brendan Rodgers wanted the 18-year-old to stay at Glasgow. Talks were held about a new deal, but nothing could be agreed due to the money that he wanted. Well, his agent wanted. Kelly was previously attracting interest from Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham and Bayer Leverkusen, but instead he wanted to go to London. Harris is chuffed to have secured the signing of the Scotland under-19 star with huge potential. He said Dan has agreed to join the club. A deal has been agreed and it has been signed. He will officially join us in January, and he's a young player that falls into the mould of certain players. He's got huge potential. The board want us to be that football club. The football club wants to evolve in bringing on young players. We want to sing young players. We give him the opportunity, and he's basically grabbing it. But he did say as well that, look, this isn't a guy that's going to walk right into the first team and make a difference. Well, what was the difference with him being at Celtic and having his football career? I mean, it's all fine and well. I'm going to Millwall. Millwall of all teams. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't get a worse bunch of scoundrels on the planet if you tried. But he's done and dusted. He is gone out the door. And let's face it, he's not going to kick a ball. I mean, would you play him in the B team now? You would just drop him at the B team altogether and let him just wait out to the end of his contract. I wouldn't play him in the B team. Certainly not. I mean, he's made his decision. He doesn't want to stay at Celtic. He was given an opportunity. Brendan Rodgers said, look, we have a limit on what we can play, and I understand where the player is in his development as a player, and we think that we've given him a fair amount of money to stay at this club. And it is a shame that clubs like Millwall in the Championship, but the Championship is a good league. Let's not face it is a bit more. It's better than half the SPFL. Let's face it. I mean, if Celtic would go down there, they would walk that league. But when it comes to it, money-wise, money talks in the modern day. And unfortunately, Daniel Kelly will be a player that will go on, and he'll probably have a decent career down in England, But is he going to win anything? He might get back. He might get into the Premier League in years to come. But is he going to win anything? And I always say, when we spoke about it yesterday morning before this news broke, I think that young players should just look at Jamesy Forrest and and look at Callum McGregor and see how that you can actually progress at Celtic. The grass isn't greener on the other side, but he's made his decision, and that is it at the end of the day. Monday, we did thrash out the deal to get Adam Idah, and it's probably the worst kept secret in Scottish football. In fact, international football, due to the fact that everyone knew that Celtic wanted Adam. They played an absolute blinder. I think today will be the day that Adam will be getting his pictures taken at Celtic Park. He had his medical down in London yesterday. He'll probably fly up to Celtic today, get his pictures taken, and be unveiled as a Celtic player. There'll probably be a press conference at Celtic Park around about 4 o'clock this afternoon, I would have thought, because tomorrow the press conferences will all be about the game this weekend. Yes, remember there is a game this weekend. We tend to get carried away with things that happen out with Celtic, but it is a bit of a word of warning. We still haven't strengthened to the requirements that we need to make the team better. And it is as simple as that. We can't all get carried away with the fact that, they're crap across the road, but we need to be looking after ourselves. And right now, we've only signed Adam Idah, and it's not made us any better. Paulo Bernardo and Adam Idah are players that were here last year. We haven't brought in any new faces to enhance the squad, and I think that's still the major concern for fans this morning. I mean, the fans aren't even thinking about that this morning because they're over the moon winding up any Sevconian friends that they do have, and the fact that they're in absolute meltdown, and the fact that they only took 39,000 to Hampden for a Champions League qualifier. Well, that says it all as far as they are concerned. Now, when it comes to Celtic transfers, Celtic, let's face it, have missed out on a number of players that they were maybe hoping to get through the door this transfer window. If you think one of them was Hugo Bueno from Wolves, I'd have loved to have him at Celtic, but we have missed out on that player. And it could be the fact that we're now turning our eyes to the next person on the list, which was the Liverpool player. Will Celtic make that offer for the one and only Owen Beck? It's the fact that QPR they're dealing with Liverpool as we speak, but Celtic have yet to make a move, and I think that's what's really annoying everyone in this transfer window is the way that we've been lagging our heels, and it's not getting any better. Let's hope that we can pull some rabbits out of the hat this week. I mean, the fanfare will be unbelievable from Celtic, and quite rightly so, the fact that we get the Adam Idah deal done and dusted. But we need to strengthen. We need to strengthen the left back. We need to strengthen the centre back. There is no sign of any movement in that department. And really, we're going to be going into the Champions League at the highest possible level, not stronger than we were last season. And even Brendan Rodgers said himself last season, he said, look, some of these players shown that they weren't experienced enough, and the youthfulness of the team shone through in the Champions League. He wanted to make us better for the Champions League, and right now, it's a sad fact that we are not. Anyway, if you haven't seen the video this morning with Chris Boyd goes into an absolute meltdown, no, make sure you watch that video here. And on that note, have a fantastic day to all the Celtic fans all around the world.